Hello, in this video I will be covering the basics of Angel's Fall first and helping you get started. So let's start with the main menu. Gonna go over a few things. Loadouts is for customizing your gear and equipment on vehicles and infantry. I'll cover that in a later video. Settings. I want to cover a few of the controls that I will be going over later. Just so you know about them. Acquire target is for targeting infantry or vehicles. It'll help you out, especially in space battles, but it also targeting will give the location for allies. In vehicles, switch flight mode is useful in space. And again, I'll cover that when I cover the space maps. Comms, your general use key, show command menu, and show broadcast menu open up radial chat commands. And then there are several specific windows for chatting to everyone in the server, or just your team, or just your squad, and a chat command. Right. Now, as far as getting into a match, there are 3 different ways. Instant play. The game will just choose a server and throw you into it. Server browser allows you to choose a specific server. And custom game is if you want to host or play offline. And I'll go over this since this is the more complex. So the left window is for selecting maps. You can choose a map. It'll give you a little bit of information and add it. And this is the active maps, which will be in your list. So you can configure by game mode or whether you want space or ground maps. And whatever is first on the list will be whatever map is loaded when you press deploy. The right window is for adjusting max team size up to 32 players or AI. And you can choose the min match time, respawn delay after you die, whether there's friendly fire, AI difficulty level, and how highly equipped they are. Server settings for offline or internet or LAN. So we're going to do an offline match here. This is going to be a Rega. It's an incursion battle. And it'll say ULA offense. So the first thing you'll see is it'll say the map, the details, and you choose which team you want. So we're going to be offense. This is going to put you into a pre-match lobby, so waiting for other players to join in if this is an online game. You can explore this. The center area here will give you a briefing where they'll show the map and talk about what the objectives are. If you go further up, there's a shooting gallery. So there are a few things to explore here. In general, in an online match, as soon as you spawn in here, most people just press ready, and that will speed up the process of getting into the match. And then there's an option to vote yourself in or vote for other players to be commander of your team. So we're going to go MilNet, which is the computer AI. We'll get a little bit of a cutscene here. Now, Incursion is a multi-stage offensive and defensive map mode. Typically, there are 2 objectives per stage. And you can see on the top right here, there's information. So A and B here are the 2 primary objectives that we have to attack. And we have 2 landing zones, which are our spawn points, which we also have to defend.
We have no orders.
So the defending team has to prevent us from capturing these objectives. They can also destroy these landing zones to prevent us from being able to spawn back into the game. So this is the tech map. And this we can usually just spawn right in, but I'm just going to walk through some more. This window here, you can choose what you want. But the legend here will give you icons for vehicles, infantry, and objectives. We can zoom in here, and you can see these icons will show you what type of infantry is around. On this bottom left here, we have spawn options. So currently, we can cycle through the 2 landing zones, and that'll allow us to choose where to spawn in. Occasionally, on complex maps, there are multiple overhead maps, which I'll go into in another map. But currently, we just have the deploy options. Down in the middle are loadout options, and we can choose our infantry kit. So we're just going to use the standard kit here and spawn in.
We have no orders.
Now, typically you will have orders highlighted for you. So while I was talking, the AI team members captured point A and B. And we see I also captured the new landing zones. So these are new spawn points for our team, closer to the new objectives. And I have an order to go and capture point C. And that is how the game progresses. So you can see on the top right, we're on stage 2 of 3. So once points C and D are captured, E and F would become available. You can see point C has 1%, so somebody started capturing it and then died. And that is Incursion battle. So I'm going to take a quick break and cover territories and then space. Okay, I'm back and I'm going to walk you through space combat in a territories map. Spawn in a hangar here. You will typically you'll still use your infantry loadouts, but we enable these flying spaceships, and I will show you so you can see these icons here correlate with space vehicles in the TAC map window here. So this is a bomber and this is a fighter. That way you don't have to walk up and see the description. So you can create multiple loadouts, but typically there's just one loadout per spaceship. And here's the equipment. We're going to launch it. Yeah, well, incursion is several stages of capturing objectives. Territories is all of the objectives are attackable and defendable at the same time, and we get the same sort of order highlights for specific tasks given to us by our commander or squad lead. You can see using the target key can highlight other ships. There's a sprint B button to boost. And as I get closer to this ship, the red circle starts spinning here. And you just point and shoot. So you'll see on the bottom left, it'll show which weapon you have used, your health and shield. So I took some shield damage and it's repairing itself. Movement is a little, oh, we have a vehicle option available. So I'm going to use my B button and accept it. That'll respawn me into a vehicle that was offered up by the game. So you can accept or decline vehicles in space or infantry maps. And this is one of the smaller capital ships. Space combat is a little bit different than infantry, and you use the mouse to move the crosshair around the screen, and then the ship flies in that direction to try to match the location of your crosshairs. Takes a bit of getting used to, but it's not too bad. The other piece I wanted to show is gravity mode. So the crosshair moving around the screen, you'll see your target reticle, your speed. If you sprint, the bar on the right will start declining, so you have limited sprint, and then it recharges. The bar on the left, I think, is for weapon overheating. The CM is for countermeasures, so if I press Z, I get a shield which will protect me from, usually if you're getting locked on by missiles, you want to use those. Gravity, GR, I have it locked onto my middle mouse button, and if I toggle that, oh, there we go. So I can toggle that on and off. So it's like, the best way to explain it is gravity assistance. And when it's on, it'll simulate a more natural feeling gravity, but if I turn it off, I will keep on going in whatever direction I thrust it in. So I'm not going forward, I'm going sideways. And my speed will stay consistent. If I turn it back on, I'll start slowing down. And that's something that takes some practice to get used to, but is a good thing to practice in single player a few matches until you get used to it, and you'll like it. I'm gonna redeploy into a fighter. Launch. Space maps are typically wide open spaces as you expect. However, they all have different structures around, and using them to your advantage is a pretty important element. You can use them to take cover from other ships and fly around them to lose a lock-on from missiles. You can fly through them to escape enemy ships chasing you. And that's pretty much it. Alright, hopefully that helps you. I will create some other video tutorials to cover more advanced elements of the game.